In the accounts of Christ's arrest, trial, and crucifixion, the emphasis is on the chief priests, so I want to highlight a bit of what we know about their lives. Over the past few decades, archaeologists have discovered several priestly mansions dating to the time of Christ. These mansions are very close to the temple. And I use the word mansion specifically because these are very large homes that were clearly owned by wealthy individuals. If you ever get the chance to go to Jerusalem, I hope you'll visit these mansions. A few years ago, I was in Jerusalem with my colleague Matt Gray, a professional archaeologist. He pointed out the contrast between the lifestyle of these priests and those in Nazareth. For example, in this home, which would have been occupied at the time of Christ, you can see there's a beautiful mosaic on the floor. In contrast, most people who lived in the Galilean region where Christ grew up had dirt floors. These mosaic floors suggest a level of opulence found among the elite in cities like Rome. Or look at this nice bathtub for indoor bathing. Some of you are probably thinking, I have a better bathtub at my house. But in the time of Christ, this type of indoor bath was a rare luxury. Expensive imported tableware and serving dishes have also been found in this area, as well as the remains of frescoed walls and beautiful exterior columns. So whoever is living in these houses has enough money to decorate and live in ways that the very elite were doing throughout the Roman Empire. Now you might be wondering, where are the priests getting all this money? In recent years, there have been changes in tax policy, and the priests have been more involved in the selling of animals at temples. With this context regarding the lifestyle of the chief priests, let's look at their reaction after Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council, and said, What do we? For this man doeth many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. Remember that the chief priests and other leaders have a financially advantageous relationship with the Romans. They keep the peace and are rewarded for it. If we want to give this group the maximum charity, we could read this verse like this. Jesus is becoming really popular. The Romans might become worried that he'll start a revolution and they'll come and take away our place, meaning our temple. And that would be disastrous for our nation. It's possible that that's what they meant. Or based on what we've been talking about with the wealth they've accrued as part of their Roman connections, there's another possibility. Perhaps they're saying, if everyone starts believing in Jesus, then Rome might say, why do we need the chief priests? They might take away our place, meaning our position. That's another possibility if we want to be less charitable in our interpretation. At this point, we're introduced to Caiaphas, the high priest. He's an important figure that you'll want to remember. He's referred to dozens of times in the New Testament, sometimes as Caiaphas and sometimes simply as the high priest. Caiaphas said unto them, Ye know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not. In context, Caiaphas is saying, Jesus is a renegade. We've got to put him to death. It's better for him to die than our whole nation to be at risk. Now, John, who's authoring this account, makes a comment on Caiaphas' statement. John says, And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus should die for that nation. And not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of God that were scattered abroad. In other words, John's saying that Caiaphas was unintentionally prophesying that Jesus would die not just to save the Jewish nation, but to save all of God's people. The result of Caiaphas' words? From that day forth, they took counsel together to put Jesus to death.
To see more videos like this one, simply search Seeking Jesus.